Oh man. Well, it's a Friday evening edition of Sports Jam Session, right? And you guys on Live Industry. It's a Friday evening edition of the Sports Jam Session, right? And you guys on Live Industry. Man, let me turn this music down. Let me turn this music down so you can hear me, right? Well, it's a Friday evening edition of the Sports Jam Session, right? And you guys on Live Industry. And I just want to jump on briefly, man, because, you know, I was shooting ball all day, man, and lifting weights at the gym, hanging out with my boys, man, you know. Them guys, man, they waiting on this basketball tournament that we want to get started, right? It's the Ballers Against Violence. Man, this violence situation in Chicago is nuts, man. And for some reason, man, I don't know if I'm following all the dang violence pages in Chicago. I just know I get all the notifications, right? Man, I was at the gym, man, and realized somebody had got shot, man. I don't know if he died or not. It was in the area that's close to where I grew up, man, on 95th and Stony Island, right? Man, I rode my bike past 95th and Stony Island every day, man, and my friends lived over there, man. I was that neighborhood for Bourne High School, man, and, you know, and plus I hung out, man, on Stony Island, man, at the Family Den and Dayton Game, you know, all the clubs that was on Stony Island back in the day, man. I'm absolutely not sure if those clubs are still... I'm not sure those clubs are still over on Stony Island because, man, I'm not over there no more. I'm out in the suburbs, man, because for some reason, man, I'm like a lot of people, man. I'm absolutely kind of afraid to go to the city, man. I don't know, man. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on in the city, man. I just know that every day, man. I look on the news and some kid or, man, women, or, man, somebody, man, got shot, man. I'm not understanding it. I'm not understanding the violence. But I'm really not understanding why Chicago don't have anything posted that should stop the violence, man. You know, I look online, man, and I know LA and several cities around the country, man, they have some kind of a stop the violence poster or billboard or something of that nature, man, you know, to do what they can, man, to put a message out to stop the violence. But Chicago, I haven't seen that in Chicago, man. I know they do a great job of reporting it. I know they do a great job of reporting it, man. Chicago absolutely does one of the best jobs of reporting the violence. And I don't know that reporting the violence is a deterrent, because my personal belief is that some of the people that are creating the violence are doing the violence, man, so they can see the news story, right? I mean, you know, and obviously, if you watch the news, man, the majority of those guys are never caught. They ain't caught. You know, it's what it is. You know, they do a great job reporting the violence. Reporting the violence really doesn't stop the violence, right? You get a chance to see parents and family members basically upset about the violence that's occurring in the Chicagoland area. But the question is, how do we stop the violence that's occurring in the Chicagoland area? Put a poster up? I don't know. That's the question, man. Everybody is sitting around I think Chicago has absolutely become numb. They've become numb to the violence in the Chicagoland area. You know what I'm saying? I see a whole lot of posts, man. They say the violence in Chicago, and they say it's the usual suspects. It's the usual suspects. Man, I don't know. Maybe it is usual suspects, man. Question is, what do we do to prevent the violence in Chicago, right? I don't know, man. Obviously, nobody knows, man, because I don't understand that generation. And I've spoken with them just based on situations that I've had in the last couple of years. I have spoken to that generation, and I can tell you this is a violent generation, man. I don't get it right. I don't get it right. No. Well, unfortunately, man, I'm gonna say this, man, and some people know this about me, right? I guess I have come up with a personal campaign. This is my personal campaign, right? Because if it wasn't my personal campaign, somebody else would be doing it, right? We've come up with the Ballers Against Violence backpack, right? It's the Ballers Against Violence backpack, man. I don't know if you see it. It's the Ballers Against Violence backpacks, man. It's from the Industry Sportswear. You know, it's a Terry Cummings jersey. What's up, T? The Terry Cummings jersey is also from the Industry Sportswear, right? It kind of upset me today, man. It kind of upset me today to see that somebody from the neighborhood I grew up in was shot on Stony Island Avenue. You know, I grew up on Stony Island, man. I grew up around the corner. I grew up on 92nd, right? So it was the area that I basically rode past. I rode past 95th Stony Island every day, right? So I don't know what happened. I hadn't had time to, what's up, man? I hadn't had time to look to see what happened on Stony Island. I just knew I definitely recognized the area. I grew up there, man. I rode past 95th and Stony Island every day. I rode past 95th and Stony Island every day from the point that I was probably 8th grade to the point I graduated from high school. Mom had been driving by the time I graduated from high school. It wasn't my car, it was my mom's car, right? So I would drive past 95th and Stony Island. And my boy lived on 94th and Stony Island. So I spent a whole lot of time in the area. And then you think about your own safety, right? I don't know the situation, like I said. I saw it. I was at the gym shooting ball like I always do, shooting ball, lifting weights. And to see somebody get possibly deleted, somebody possibly got deleted on the area, in the area that you are absolutely familiar with, right? Because I grew up over there, man. I was over there every day, man. So my best friend lived in that area, right? I know one of my best boys lived on the next block, right? You know, long over there. Man, unfortunately, man, a majority of us are no longer in those neighborhoods, right? Because we had an opportunity to get out of those neighborhoods as those neighborhoods became increasingly unsafe. You know, we went to college, man, and some of us got decent jobs, and we just decided that we determined that that's just not where we want to be any longer, right? I don't know if you guys know my story, right? I graduated from college, right? And I got a pretty good job, right? I was in the transportation industry. And unfortunately, the transportation industry was decimated by COVID, right? There's several things that caused the transportation industry to, I guess, go downhill, right? Because I started off, and I've worked for some of the major, largest companies in transportation. And unfortunately, a lot of those companies are no longer in business. And I was actually, I was actually told that transportation was absolutely going to always be here. It was going to always be bumping. It was always going to be prosperous. And unfortunately, it wasn't the truth, right? Because when COVID hit, people stopped going. People stopped going to the mall to shop, right? And the products that was being purchased at the mall was being delivered by trucking companies. So when people stopped purchasing those products, of course, they no longer needed those trucking companies. And a lot of those trucking companies went out of business. I worked for Roadway Express, man, who was supposed to be rock solid, going to be here forever. And Roadway Express is no longer in business, right? So Roadway Express is no longer in business. So I guess, man, I had to come up with something else, right? I had to come up with something else, right? So cool. What I did was I switched to solar. I was doing great in solar, right? Man, I was probably making 150,000, 125, $150,000 a year in the solar industry, right? But the problem with the solar industry, man, and majority of the people that you had to talk to, you had to talk to them after they got off work. That means you working after 5. And then some of those people didn't work, so you had to go meet them at 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you start working at 9 o'clock in the morning, then you have an appointment at 5 that may take 3-4 hours, then what you realize, man, all of a sudden you can work a 12-hour day. And working 12 hours, 6 days a week was something I absolutely had no interest in doing, right? I had absolutely no interest in working myself to death, right? Because what I realized, man, when you working 12 hours a day, you find yourself eating on the road because somebody messaged me. You find yourself eating on the road, and eating on the road basically lets you know that the meal you was eating is probably going to probably not be too healthy, right? So, and then I didn't have time to go to the gym. Then you have to determine is what is more important to you, right? I mean, of course, companies have 401ks and profit sharing and the whole lick. And then you got to determine is what's more important to you. Is it more important to have the money, or is it more important to have your health? So as I realized that my health was getting bad because of the bad eating, non-ability to work out, and the stress that's involved with maintaining a pretty successful looking lifestyle. Now, what do I call it a successful looking lifestyle? It's the American dream, right? People assume that the American dream is a big house, a fancy car, and I don't know that that is absolutely what success is, right? Is success a big house and a fancy car? I don't know that success is a big house and a fancy car. Because what you find, and somebody's at my door. Who is that? Are you about to...
Robin, I'm Tanya's daughter.
What do you want? Hold on a second, Robin. All right. Hey, I'll be right back.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
No problem, right? I ain't never met you.
Always over here.
I thought you was the other daughter.
Oh, no.
Hey, no big deal.
Yeah.
She texted me, man, so I'm good.
Thank you so much.
Hey, no problem. My neighbor, man, she had to pick something up from me. No big deal. So, big deal. So, I don't know. I don't know that success is a big house and a fancy car and a position, that's a job that you absolutely can't stand, right? Man, I had a good position, man. I've had several good positions in my life, right? And then I realized I absolutely didn't like those jobs, right? And I didn't like the job. I probably didn't like the stress that came along with the job. I would tell my friends all the time, right? Every time I purchase something flashy, car or something of that nature, I noticed that my boss was trying to make me work hard. Like he was controlling my life. Bitch ass nigga, you don't control my life. It's my goddamn life. You know what I'm saying? You do not control my life. It's my life. Right? So, I determined that I had to come up with something else, right? Because I went to college on basketball scholarship. I went to several different colleges. I actually went to two. You know what I'm saying? And I graduated. I mean, I was a pretty good student, to be honest with you, right? I mean, people don't know. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes just based on my size and my demeanor, people don't understand that, man, I was on a roll student. I was on a roll student in high school. When people couldn't qualify for high school scholarships because their grades weren't high enough, man, I had absolutely zero problems getting in college, man. I had zero problems getting in college. I aced the ACT, and I'm not sure, I don't know if they even take the ACT. I actually question, do they college students even study no more? I can't even remember last time I heard any stories about a basketball player flunking off a team, right? And I don't know how they graduated, and I'm not sure if they even going to college to graduate. I'm absolutely not certain that the majority of basketball players that are entering college have any intentions on graduating. I personally believe what they're doing is they're going to college, and because of Neil, if they play their cards right, man, you can walk up out of 4 years of college, man, 4 years of college, man, with several $1 million, man. So if I got several $1 million, man, explain to me why am I going to go back to get my degree? Because I do realize, man, and I transfer schools. Every time I transfer to school, I lost some credits. So if you're a player that enters the transfer portal every year, and all of those credits don't transfer, how are you going to have enough credits in 4 years to graduate from college, right? But they're not trying to graduate from college, man. They obviously not trying to graduate from college. You know what I'm saying? I believe that the majority of them are just trying to go to college because of Neil, they can get paid, right? Man, if I was 20 years old and I had figured out how to make $2, $3, $4 million shooting basketball as a college student. Man, you can take $2-3 million, man, $4 million, man. You can build a whole life off of it unless you waste it all on, I don't know. I was gonna say, man, let's be clear on it, right? And it is what it is, right? I tell these young guys, I say, man, I don't care what you think, bro. You are absolutely going to spend the majority of the money that you make in your lifetime on women. You're going to spend the majority of the money you make in your life on women, right? If you don't spend the money on women, you're going to be spending it on something that has something to do with the women that you met in your lifetime, right? Because, man, it's several basketball players, man, who made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? Boy, the more money you make, the higher your child support's gonna be, right? And something about being an athlete and being in a certain kind of shape, and if you have some kind of a celebrity status, it's gonna draw women to you. And the courts are going to determine if you set a female up in a certain lifestyle that, especially if she has your kids, she has the right to continue that lifestyle. His right to continue that lifestyle, right? So if you set her up in a certain kind of a lifestyle and you are $1 million athlete, you gotta spend a whole lot of money, man. You gotta spend a whole lot of money, right? Helping her to maintain that lifestyle, right? Man, one of my favorite shows, man, is it's called Child Support, man. It's on Tubi right now. I post it to my page sometimes, right? I don't post on the public league page. It has nothing to do with basketball. It has nothing to do with basketball. It's a girl on there. It's called Child Support, man. It's on Tubi, right? It's absolutely hilarious, man, because I said it to my people, man. I say, man, every dude in sports or the music industry should absolutely watch this show on Tubi, man. It's a cartoon. It's called Child Support, man. It's absolutely hilarious, right? She said, she tell him, she say, come get your son and send me some money because I want to get my hair and my nails done. It's on Tubi, man. It's called Child Support. Hey, what's happening, man? I see somebody tuning in. A couple people tuned in. No big deal, right? So I just want to come on briefly, man, because I mean, I'm waiting on my dude, man. We was supposed to possibly go do something tonight on the Industry Sports Channel Superstation 25. You know what I'm saying? So it's a Friday evening edition of Sports Jam Session, man. You guys have been online with the industry. Man, we got to stop the violence, man. We got to stop the violence, man. Man, you know, I played in the Chicago Public League, right? And I played in the Blue South. And when I was in high school, man, Hyde Park High School was actually in the Blue South, right? And I worked out at the Southside YMCA. A bunch of us worked out at the Southside YMCA. Y'all don't know it, man. I met Ricky Green, man. Ricky Green. The legend from Hearst High School, man. Got a state championship. That's where I met Ricky Green. I met Ricky Green at the Southside YMCA, right? So to see somebody blasted right in front of the Southside YMCA was totally disturbing to me. It's totally disturbing, right? Not only did I work out at the Southside YMCA, right across the street is Jackson Park, and Jackson Park has a a field house, which has a very nice gym in it, right? And I played the Jackson Park tournament. Let me tell you who I played in the Jackson Park tournament against. And people don't know this, but I'm going to explain it to you, right? People ask me, they see the pictures on Facebook, man. They say, man, Burn, how did Burn know Carl Harris? How do I know Tony McCoy? How do I know? I knew Tracy Dildy before the tournament. But I played against Carl Harris, Tracy Dildy, and Tony McCoy at the tournament, man, at Jackson Park, man, Jackson Park, right across the street from Southside YMCA, where unfortunately yesterday, some high school student had actually got shot at the bus stop, right? So that's how I know all those guys, right? So when I say who can name this player, right? Man, I know them players, man. Y'all don't even know I know those guys, right? And we met Tony McCoy and Frank Nitti and Fred Shepard in the championship game at the YMCA, at the Jackson Park tournament, right? And my team consisted of your Secretary of State. No, he's the Attorney General, right? Man, y'all don't know that Attorney General Kwame Raoul absolutely can hoop, man. Kwame is the person who set the team up. The team consisted of me, Rodney Hawkins, man. Coleman Hawkins' dad. You know, Coleman Hawkins from the University of Illinois. Y'all see me, I had that 33 jersey on, man. It's Eddie Johnson's number. And several people at the University of Illinois have worn number 33, right? But the jersey I have on is actually Coleman Hawkins' jersey, right? And the reason I made it jersey black, because Coleman had transferred to Kansas State. And black wasn't going to get dirty, and it wasn't like he was still there. It didn't have to be authentic. I just wanted black because it was easier to keep clean. No big deal, right? So, in the championship game at Jackson Park tournament, we played Tony McCoy and Frank Nitti and Flip, and I can't recall who else was on that team, right? And we won, man. So I talk trash about, man, y'all don't know that the people that y'all consider basketball legends in Chicago. And I'm not saying that they're not basketball legends, because they absolutely are basketball legends, right? But we beat them in the championship, man. It is what it is, right? So when I tell you that, man, this players in the Chicago area, man, that y'all consider basketball legends, I beat them in the tournament, man. It's some of them dudes, man, they have absolutely never beat me in the basketball tournament, right? Because I started off in high school balling with Ben Wilson, right? And me and Ben Wilson and Rodney Hall played at St. Sabina and St. Calabanis. Man, I'll be honest with you, man. I absolutely never remember who I beat. But I always remember who beat me. I always remember who beat me, right? Because basketball players always remember who beat them. I don't know why they remember, but I do remember too, right? I remember games I lost. I remember when I played against that dude who I thought I was better than, and then he showed me he was better than me, right? Years and years and years ago, I talked to Bobby Simmons, man. Bobby Simmons played for Simeon, he played for DePaul, he played in the NBA. I think he played with Jordan, with the Washington Wizards, right? And I talked to Bobby. I say, I met him, he called me on the phone. I was trying to do something in Chicago. I was still living in Louisiana. I was trying to do something in Chicago. So Bobby called me on the phone. My friend told him to call me, and he did. And I said, hey, man, you know, we beat y'all in the playoffs. Because I had coached that Bourne team. Y'all don't know that Ortiz Glaze and all those guys who took Bourne to the city finals. I had coached them guys when they were freshmen and sophomores, right? And Bourne beat Simeon, man, to go to the Final Four. Bourne actually literally beat Simeon by 20. And I asked Bobby, I said, man, you know we beat y'all in the playoffs your senior year. He said, no, that was my junior year. So Basketball players, I don't care how successful they get, they will absolutely remember losing the game that they were supposed to win, right? And then I talked to TC, my guy, right? I got on my Terry Cummings jersey, man. That's my favorite jersey, right? One of my favorites, right? I love that Mark Aguirre jersey. I can see it. That's Mark Aguirre. That's my. Let y'all guys see this, man. That's my Mark Aguirre jersey, and that's my Alfred Hughes. What's up, Al? What's up, Mark? For some reason, man, being that I am the administrator of the Chicago Public League Basketball History of Excellence, a page I started in the memory of my main man, Ben Wilson, right? I've had an opportunity to talk to Mark, and I've talked to Terry, and I've talked to Al. Man, I have Al's jersey, and Al has Al's jersey. I had that jersey, man. That Alfred Hughes loyal jersey, man. It's one of my favorites, right? The machine gun, I call it machine gun, right? I got a post I posted on Facebook this week, man. Public League basketball is our way out, and some of them didn't make it, man. And I talked about my guys, right? And for some reason, man, I grew up not too far from Chicago State. So I got a chance to see all those guys play, man, when they were up-and-coming basketball players, right? I said, man, the first person I noticed was Isaiah Thomas, man. He had the best handles I'd ever seen in my life, right? Isaiah, man, he was doing his thing, right? And then I got a chance to see Terry and Mark and Isaiah and James Donaldson played for the Dallas Mavericks, man. James Donaldson. That's where he's from Chicago because he shows at Chicago State, right? David Greenwood, Reggie Theus, Darrell Walker, and Carl Nix. It was a great time, man, to be a kid, man. Watching your heroes, man, up close and personal, right? At the time, I did not know that was absolutely the Chicago Public League basketball history of excellence that I would one day be talking about being in charge of. Man, I didn't know. The powers above had something planned for me. I had no idea they had that planned for me, right? That's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy, man. It's crazy, right? Public League basketball was our way out. Some of us didn't make it, right? Man. That's an interesting story, man. And I'm absolutely putting out bits and pieces of it. And I tell you guys that when Ben Wilson met his unfortunate demise, I was actually hanging out with Bobby Tribble, man. Me and Bobby Tribble, man, and Kenny Allen. We're all and John Kelly from Farragut, right? We're all at top rank. Well, we're number 5 rank. We're in the top 10 in the country in Division II at Lewis University. And Lewis University absolutely had a whip, man. I played behind Joe Niego from De La Salle, right? Joe Niego got drafted by the Houston Rockets. And I think Tom and Charlie both went to the camp with the New York Knicks, right? We had another player from Lewis who was playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So Lewis was absolutely this. If you were not going to go major Division I, Lewis University was a great place to go, man. Because Lewis University back in the 80s had a cable contract, right? We had a gym shoe contract with New Balance. We had a cable contract. So Lewis University was absolutely a great place to go. First of all, to get an education, man. Because understand this, man. Back in the day, our number one goal was to get an education, man. Because our parents couldn't afford to send us to college, right? So we had to get a college scholarship, right? So, man, going to school, man, at one of the top-ranked colleges, man, is not a problem, man. It was a great place to be, Lewis University at the time, right? Understand, man, I was number 5 scoring in the city, man. I was number 10 scoring in the state of Illinois. I had received letters from dang near every school in the state, right? From Division I to Division III. I had an opportunity to go play some of those schools, right? I came out in 1984, man, with Hershey Hawkins and Jerry Jones and Tim Bankston, Byron Irvin, Nick Anderson. Nick Anderson, right? Man, y'all, man, I got the post, man. It's on my page, man. Y'all don't know that I actually was leading Byron Irvin in scoring until I'm gonna say this and you're gonna get mad. David Gordon and Rodney Hawkins let Byron Irvin score 50 points his last game of the season, and he beat me in scoring, right? What's up, Byron, man? Y'all don't know Byron. This is my boy, man. I've been doing Byron Irvin, man. We battled in high school. Man, I battled with everybody, man. Joe Haywood from Hyde Park High School, right? What's up, Gerald? It's my dog. But y'all don't know the dudes is my boys, man, because we was all at basketball camp. We played in park. We played in tournaments around the city. And for some reason, the team I was on with Rodney Hall and Ben Wilson, we won all those tournaments, man. No big deal. Who knew that we were as good as anybody in America? We're absolutely as good as anybody in America, man. Rodney started off at Kansas, and Tim started off at Bradley, and I started off at Lewis, and Rodney Hall started off at Kansas. Derek Vick! What's up, Derek Vick? From Corliss High School. Corliss High School. Derek Vick went to Nebraska. Rod Hawkins ended up with San Diego State with Tracy Dildy. It's a great time to be a basketball player, man. And the greatest thing to me, man, was to go to Chicago State and the Chicago State Pro-Am and be able to reach out and touch my heroes, man. I said it on my Facebook post, right? Get a chance to reach out and touch my heroes, right? And then you find out, man, that later in life, you look at what they did, man, and the work they put in to become who they are, right? Shout out to Big Mark and Terry Cummings, right? Man, Big Mark and Terry Cummings absolutely should be in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. So I have a personal campaign to get Big Mark and Terry Cummings in the Basketball Hall of Fame, right? Man, Tim Hardaway made it, man. Y'all don't know I played against Tim Hardaway. I played against Tim Hardaway every year that I was in high school, right? Because they wasn't in our division. They was in the red, we were in the blue. But we scrimmaged Carver. I guess I coached and Carver's coach had a great relationship. So I scrimmaged Tim Hardaway against Tim Hardaway, and every year I was in high school, and also played against Tim Hardaway at Llewellyn Park, man. I met Tim Hardaway at Llewellyn Park, man. I got a story on there. Public League basketball was all the way out. Some of us didn't make it, right? I tell the story how Tim Hardaway came down court, man. He shook somebody and threw the ball off the backboard and then beat everybody to the other side and laid it in. I knew the dude had skills. I knew he had skills. I didn't know he was going to be a Hall of Famer. Of course, I didn't know at the time that he was going to become a basketball Hall of Famer. Which I guess if you're a basketball player, the goal is to become a Hall of Famer. That means they remember you forever, right? You get enshrined in Springfield, Massachusetts, right? You get a chance to put on the orange jacket, right? And I congratulate Tim, man, because Tim did what he did, man. Tim did what he did, right? It's an urban myth, right? And I'm gonna call it an urban truth. It's an urban myth that I'm gonna call an urban truth, right? When Tim Hardaway was a junior in college, he was playing at the IIT tournament against Michael Jordan, and he hit Mike up for 60 points, right? Mike was the man in the NBA, and the college junior hit him up for 60 points. And then Tim went to his senior year at UTEP and took UTEP on the magical basketball tournament run and NCAA tournament, right? So it seemed like Our Frederick Hughes did when he was playing for Loyola, right? So I guess they both improved their draft stock in the NCAA tournament, man, because they absolutely lit it up, right? But us being from Chicago, man, we knew how them dudes could play. We knew they could play. They played in the public league, man. Man, public league is probably one of the top, if not the top, high school basketball conferences in America, right? Because we sure got a whole lot of professional basketball players that came up out of Chicago Public League, right? And then people gonna tell me, man, Isaiah Thomas didn't play in the public league. But he lived in the public league area, right? So most of his boys played in the public league. So I want to say, if I want to talk about Isaiah Thomas as a public league player, and they absolutely played against public league schools, I'm not going to debate it with you. I'm not going to debate it with you. If you played in Chicago Catholic League, you played in Harvey at Thornton High School, or you played, I don't know, in Kankakee, you played against the public league, right? And the public league made you tough, man. First of all, you had to go to those schools. Man, going to some of those schools is absolutely an experience, right? And people talking about Simeon in 1984 only had one loss, and the game was never finished because of a fight. Man, I heard the best stories about that Simeon Farragut fight, right? Because I went to school with players from both teams, right? And John Kelly, man, played point guard for Farragut. He told the most hilarious story about the Simeon Farragut fight. I heard Simeon had that loss reversed, so they was actually long term was considered undefeated. But we all know the game didn't end. It didn't end. The game absolutely didn't end. Man, they say Farragut was throwing pennies at Simeon on the court. And it was 7 seconds left, and I guess that people don't know that he wasn't the leading scorer. He possibly was the lead rebounder, but I know he was one of the toughest players. Kenny Allen punched somebody in the face. The students from Farragut rushed the court, and Simeon ran to the locker room. I guess they had to get a police escort to get off the west side, right? Man, welcome to the public league, right? Yeah, I got another post, man. Say Chicago Public League. Absolutely ain't no joke, baby. Chicago Public League ain't no joke, right? So no big deal, man. It's 8 o'clock. I'm gonna end this broadcast, man, and see if I'm gonna come back on. Hey, Rob, man, call your boy, man. I had a busy day, man. No big deal. Hey. It's Sports Jam Session, man. You guys have been online with the industry. Man. Ballers Against Violence, man. We looking for sponsors, right? Sponsor a team. If you can't sponsor a team, man, just get a jersey, man. Walk around with a jersey on. It's sweet, man, because, you know, I make them. I'm in the sportswear, right? Get a jersey, man. Ballers Against Violence, right? Ballers Against Violence, man. Got the Ballers Against Violence backpacks, man, and they clear so that you can't. Just be clear on it, man. They're clear because some kids can't have no deadly weapon in there. Man, there's no reason for my mama to send me to school in the morning, not knowing that's the last time she's absolutely going to see me. There's absolutely no reason a mama should wake up in the morning and send her kid to school, and that's the last time she's seen him. Man, we got to stop the killing, man. Somebody got to say something. Rest in peace, Ben Wilson. Boy, I guarantee I heard you, right? The Sports Jam Session, man. Friday evening edition. You guys been online with the industry. 25 for life.
We making music. Promo City.
promotion.
Yeah, young boy shit, man.
My brother in here with me, he got smoke to sell. Came in booty with a 4, he say he high as hell. I know Drake go down the floor when he get high as hell. Mar ain't got shot, they got him high as hell. Full of weed, with a lean, I need some more dope. On her knees, she take me, she gon' really scope. Blowing O's with my bow, tryna find some hoes. In the bottom,